Cohesive sadness met with friction, a certain depression of emotional contention, the vast amounts of pretension without intention due to frigid isolation, elation introduced to a pedigree, various degree intermingled with a remedy that's supposed to alleviate anxiety, worry-free, bottled and handed out so freely. It's entrapment followed by indictment, the true detriment of time fully spent on the singular contentment. We're always meant to be delivered in perfection, but all the loose ends had bent into a hollow sound producing judgment. Like you weren't allowed to vent, childish connotations met without relent. Keep it all inside, thoughts in my mind not paying rent, leaving the largest mental indent, evil intent no precedent. You call it beautiful, being all quiet and recluse, rather obtuse, when your life hangs in a noose of death just a little too loose. Bringing a tragedy, shooting down like some kind of tyranny, only without a king and without a visual sting, makes the most wildest things sing. Vain resolves to solve a series of empty trauma, met with a little too much drama. An emotional opera losing its sense of value and virtuous meaning like a paper bag made by Prada. We all have that expression that cracks with tension, as if a degree of certain emotion equates to a moderate position of here I am. You see, it's a simple stress test of validity, man's heart beating rhythmically, professing tranquility. What is humility? An edge of violent verge, hands cracking from holding on to a ledge while protecting their true selves, concrete hedge. Making a solemn statement that minutes are holy and brief seconds are made worthy. Dedicated mindsets, fractal energy bouncing softly towards a normally animated fantasy. You see where a hard hand strikes a dark day, makes it spring and bounce, forgetting about that shattered ounce, instead waiting for the lion to pounce, invigorated with light to renounce the many counts held against us like some broken heart made to bleed all of a sudden. It's time's a creed of moderate greed does not yet hold the strength to individually heed the construct of being in need beyond being freed. Emotionally, it's a certain provisional lead to the exact form of deed that made us all guaranteed an absolute display to supersede all those who forever disagreed. It's a shame indeed. Be prepared to say on that certain day without relay, look up with your eyes up all the way. This is no longer time to write some intricate essay in some bougie cafe, but rather playing ballet with the decay that's led your life formidably astray, being handed an empty bouquet as an attaché to the disarray that made you disobey and look back on your way to every action that did betray. A view so passé does not even begin to convey that it was not okay to play that way. What I mean to say is through all the misery, the corrupt clarity that enamored your entity to reach depravity masquerading as positivity. In light of all the enmity brought forth between your identity and what has become incrementally and environmentally experimental, a gentle accidental provision of self-judgment, like cement falling all over your brain in an attempt to circumvent the torment that lays present, a sort of discontent lament that makes your thoughts ferment into a delusional accent trying to reinvent the time that you spent. An indictment, a certain consequent direct involvement to wolves howling, enraged by the vigor found in indulging in darkness without their prowling. You may have made it into congregation, developing your own rule and reign. Yet what you procure in the end is desolation, a plain attempt to soothe the pain. Comparable to Cain, you're not the brother's keeper. You have only but yourself to gain, harvesting of veins of just being vain. You stand there anointed as hell, but you have nothing to quash that quell. Rather than looking at the writing on the wall, you continue to indulge with a great cabal, know them all, deem power to fall. I ain't playing hardball, just in it for the long haul. Let's examine the air you blow, off to show the lack of spiritual investment in stock, blowing air at the flock, treating its words like a boardwalk, cakewalk, whatever you want to call it. You built yourself a cell block, built to survive the shell shock, cut the small talk. You face a building block, a block that seems to make you stumble, mumble, grumble, putting your individual plans in a humble jumble. As you pump superstars in the altar made for a beggar of God's mercy, it's no alarm that the wild tenacity fits the shoe that fits the preach. Let us teach, they say. Circumnavigate the delirium that's made itself appear as a light lighter than helium. Hands that prepare to fast, only prepare fast, and message meant for the first but target at the last. Ascertaining your house, for God rock at Bethel, rather displaying for all to see. Rather babble as you babble on like Babylon, the fortune your 500 eyes have settled upon. Glory gone empty frail, where heaven's pearly gate shall prevail. Ain't that a tale for a wise man to say on that day when all knees are bowed and tongues come to say, hey, isn't that the king that they meant to slay? Yet he stands right here before us today.